You might be wondering if you can enjoy the Fallout series on Amazon Prime if you aren't already a fan of the video games. Speaking as someone who tried and failed to enjoy Fallout 4, I can tell you that I thoroughly enjoyed the Amazon Prime Fallout series. I realize I'm in the minority, but I never got into Fallout 4 or Skyrim. Even having very little experience with Fallout going into the show, I was very quickly taken with this world building, to the point where it made me want to try the video games again, even though my previous attempts ended in disaster. I thought that Lucy as a character was very critical to making the show work. The post-apocalyptic setting has most people resorting to being dirtbags to survive, which could have made it hard to care about anything. But Lucy is such a morally good character that gives you something to latch on to.
You're a good person for not shooting me with that gun!
Huh. It was really no problem.
Let's compare this to the disaster that was Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. In Kill the Justice League, everything is horrible, and even the characters you're playing as are horrible.
No! Hardly, no!
Worth it.
Which makes it seem like the game is advocating for this horribleness, instead of portraying it as something to be overcome.
Your friends are beyond saving.
And the moral of the story is, you should kill the innocent victims. This game isn't just bad. This game is evil. The people who made this game are evil. Lucy, being a well-intentioned person, keeps the whole thing from feeling pointless.
At first glance, your treatment of this man appears unfair, and I'm obliged to intervene.
There's a part early, this isn't really a spoiler since it happened so early. There's a part early on where her dad is talking about the day when maybe the Vault Dwellers will make the surface worlds a better place, or maybe the surface world will make the Vault Dwellers a worse people. And that's one of the main themes of this whole season. Lucy is such a good person, and she goes out into this horrible wasteland, and it keeps begging the question, is it going to change her for the worse?
If you insist on staying, then you will have to adapt. The question is, will you still want the same things when you have become a different animal altogether?
Meanwhile, there's this other character named Cooper who has been alive since before the nuclear apocalypse, and you see these flashbacks of him being this nice guy, trying to be a good father, trying to use his fame for good purposes.
You all are doing God's work here, and on behalf of every decent American, I just want to say thank you.
But he has since then become a horrible person.
A very, very large bucket of drugs.
Oh. And it sets him up as something that Lucy could become. And there's this other character named Maximus who, I want to say he flip-flops more. In the first episode or two, you might be thinking he seems like a fine person to me, but without spoiling too much, when you see how he interacts with another character named Thaddeus, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say he can be kind of evil sometimes. Maximus is kind of a very moldable character. A lot of the characters have a big impact on Maximus's behavior. He makes you think about how people will sometimes treat other people poorly because they were treated poorly. Meanwhile, Lucy is trying to still treat people well even though she's been treated poorly.
Because of the golden rule. Do unto others as you'd have done unto you.
I know a lot of people were suspicious of Lucy because female protagonists tend to be written in an undesirable way these days.
But if someone tries to touch you in a place or in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, that's no good.
But Lucy's nothing like Ray or Captain Marvel or anything.
Here's a proposition for you. You're gonna give me your jacket, your helmet, and your motorcycle, and in return, I'm gonna let you keep your hand. Would you like a sip? Here.
And on top of that, the action is a ton of fun in this show. It's super gory, and it uses slow-mo in a good way as opposed to making you wait for it to be over. I really liked this show. I hope it gets a second season, and I think I might try Fallout 4 again, even with bad memories of... But a lot of you might be wondering what I'm talking about. Why didn't I like Fallout 4? Well, at least not in the brief experience that I had with it. Well, here's the thing. I'm a very big fan of good combat in video games. Combat is one of the main things I play video games for. I have enjoyed some video games that don't have combat at all, but I think that subpar combat systems in video games are like the Star Wars sequel trilogy, in that they're not better than nothing. If a game doesn't want to put the effort into making a great combat system, then it shouldn't have me doing so much combat. I'm also someone who struggles to figure out complex resource management, and I hate long walks through barren wastelands. So these games kind of hit me in my weak spots. Not only did I not get into Fallout 4, I couldn't get into Skyrim, a very popular game from the same developers. In terms of the Fallout or Fallout-esque games from Bethesda, I have played a little bit of Fallout 4, a little bit of Skyrim, and too much of Starfield. I say too much even though I didn't actually get to the ending of Starfield. And I had a negative experience with all three of those games. I'm not saying that Fallout 4 or Skyrim are bad games. I am saying that Starfield is a bad game, but not Fallout 4 or Skyrim. They just haven't been working for me personally. When I played Starfield, I hated the main story. I chose a girlfriend named Andreja, and she turned out to be a cultist, so I had to break up with her. You know how that is.
Cult is such a dismissive word. The great serpent and his inevitable return.
You can't be serious. Not you. I got demotivated, so I played other games for a while, then I came back to it and I realized this is just a bad game and I don't enjoy it. I haven't beaten it, probably never will, but I have seen footage of the ending and it's pathetic. A long time ago, I tried playing Skyrim for the first time. My memories of that primarily consist of wandering around, fighting dull skeletons for a few minutes, not enjoying it, and loading screens that took forever. After suffering Starfield, I tried playing Skyrim again. After maybe a few minutes of clanking my sword against insurmountable shields, I had to say, I'm sorry, but I'm not your chosen one, goodbye. I gave up pretty quickly. I don't know how people do this. I don't know how they put up with that combat system for hundreds of hours. When I tried playing Fallout 4, it went like this. They have you create your character, and the way they do it is they have this husband and wife that you can customize in the mirror, and you choose which one of them to actually play as. So I'm thinking, oh sweet, I already have a wife and baby. The wife died about halfway through the tutorial, and they even took my baby. So then I wandered around a bit, getting exposed to radiation and bugs, you know how that is. I did some of the combat. It wasn't as bad as Skyrim, but it wasn't amazing either. I saved this group of people and they let me use this mech suit. However, it ran out of power very quickly and became dead weight. So I'm following this group to their camp, and they started walking into a radioactive river and then course correcting back out of it and then onto a bridge, which they should have gotten onto in the first place. So I get to their camp, and at some point they're like, hey, can you make beds for us? And one of the dialogue options is, you want me to make beds? Which is exactly what I was thinking. Like, I came here to destroy mutants and save my baby and create a new world order, and they want me to make beds. I was doing all the fighting for them. They couldn't think of anyone whose time was less important. So at some point, I'm trekking from point A to point B, and I jump onto this car, and I instantly die. and I thought maybe it was radiation poisoning, but it shouldn't have happened so instantaneously if that's what it was. But of course, it's a glitch, which apparently I'm not the only one who found that glitch where you just die upon touching a car. It's not like it was a moving car, it was just sitting there. It's probably inoperable. And mind you, these are games where you manually save to not lose progress, so dying to a random glitch can be quite perturbing if you haven't saved for a while. So at that point I gave up, and I haven't played a Fallout or Fallout-ish game since then. But after an episode or two of the Fallout show on Amazon Prime, I re-downloaded Fallout 4. I don't know if I'm going to regret that or not. I know people enjoy these games for a reason, except for Fallout 76 and Starfield. So remember to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and give Fallout a thumbs up.